And we've been trying to get a win like that all year. When the shots aren't going in, can we get enough stops? Can we generate enough stops to get the W? And this easily could have been a game that we just kind of mailed it in early, especially when they started off hitting the amount of threes that they did. For us to shoot 39% from the field and score 101 points, I tell you what, the defensive side of the floor was fun to watch. Kessler was great. Domas with 14 defensive rebounds. He was obviously amazing. Another double-double for him. The guys just found a way off of a back-to-back when we got into the hotel at 3:30 in the morning. Like I said, we could have mailed it in early, but they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And for us, I think it was the first time we held an opponent under 100 points. So that's exciting to see us get a win this way. And then with them at 41.2% from the field, that was a lot of fun too. But you give Malik credit too down the stretch. I thought they tried to switch Mikal Bridges on him a couple of times, and Malik did a great job of just trying to sit down and not foul and just make him take a tough shot. And it was a fun game to be a part of, fun game to watch.
Mike, can you just talk about how gritty this team is, just a little bit more. As the season continues, or as you keep learning more and more about this squad, can you just talk about, as you mentioned, just being traveling the next amount of games the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I never imagined that I would use that word with this team this year, gritty. But the guys showed grit definitely tonight. I told them I was proud of them. The game wasn't pretty offensively, but I thought we tried to get out and run. I thought we tried to move the ball. You got to give the Nets a lot of credit. They got long athletes that are 6'7" and bigger, and they just switch a lot of stuff. And sometimes that baits you into playing iso ball, which we did a couple of times tonight. And usually when that happens, we stall out, and we did at times. But I thought we were just gritty, and we found ways to get stops. And like I told our guys, when you look at the schedule, we could have easily just thrown in the bag at the beginning of the game after they came out on fire and said, hey, got to our hotel room at 3:30 in the morning and had a game last night, and Kevin gets hurt early, but our guys just kept playing, and that was really, really encouraging to see. So great game, good, and a lot of grit shown by our guys, finding a way to get a win tonight.
Along the lines of grit, I'm sorry, I can't wait if you mentioned it, but 0 second chance points and no fast break points until that last sort of meaningless bucket from Cam Johnson. It would have been the first time in 7.5 years that's happened. But were you especially impressed with your team's attention to detail in those regards? Because we part on those things.
Yeah, I was. That's what I said earlier. I was impressed with the way we defended it. They got a lot of scores on their team. A lot of long athletes that can score from all three levels. They can pass, shoot, dribble, all of them, and for us to come after back-to-back, getting in our hotel at 3:30 and trying to go out there and execute the game plan, especially defensively, the right way, and trying to do all the little things. We had a couple of possessions, Chris. We were flying around. It was the best I've seen all year. And to see that again in this situation, the back-to-back, was really, really encouraging, because we're going to have to win games like this come playoff time. We're going to have to win games a lot of different ways, and so to finally show it, especially in a back-to-back situation, really, really exciting for me.
What would you make of Kessler's performance, not only coming back against the team that traded him, but also it seemed like there were at least a few possessions where he was flying around defensively and also being able to contribute on offense? So I would imagine it's kind of difficult to come in and contribute offensively given how complex this offense is.
Yeah, the big thing that he did, he just kept himself ready, and that ball found him a couple of times. And what I like about him is he's not afraid of the moment. He's going to step in and let that thing fly, and we want all our guys to be able to do that. And had a great cut when Domas got double teamed, coming back to the ball, I don't know how he made the pass to, I don't know who it was, Malik, I think, in the corner, and Malik hits a big three. That was a huge play. And then, he had a couple of rebounds that were big for us. And to do those things while, guarding Spencer Dinwiddie, guarding Mikal Bridges, guarding guys like that, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, just to be able to keep your poise, keep trying to show your hands, keep trying to do all the other little things that we're asking him to do, especially not being here the whole year. When you see a guy do that at the level of intensity he does, you're excited for him, but you're also excited for the team, because it shows his worth or his value to us.
You mentioned, looking at the schedule and not sort of phoning this one in. Watching that game, it seemed like Domas was the one who really embodied that, given his production. Talk about him almost every game, but what would you make of it?
Yeah, I don't know if Domas. I don't know if he knows another way. I think he's got one gear, and it's the highest gear. And I've said this story before. He was just playing so hard, he didn't realize how much time was on the clock, and the game clock. And I sent maybe Mezzi to the scorer's table to substitute him just so he could get his break. And he had just turned the ball over, and he dropped his head, and he came to me and he stopped. He goes, "Coach, sorry." And I was like, "Thomas, you play too hard. I can't get mad at you. Go. You're supposed to come out. Look at the clock. You're just supposed to get a rest. Now you're good. Don't worry about it. Because he does. He sets the tone for us with his physicality, and he was great tonight because. We stay on him about it, but he's got to continue to play as hard as he does, play as physical as he does, but do it while showing his hands so that he doesn't get in early foul trouble. And
I think Malik was given the chain tonight. What was it about his defensive performance that makes you count on that?
I thought throughout the whole game he was pretty good, and not necessarily getting a lot of steals and all that, but his positioning was pretty good. He was communicating. And then down the stretch, they tried to, pick on him a little bit. They tried to ISO him versus Mikal, and you're not stopping a guy like Mikal. He's a young player that's a really, really good player. He's going to be a great player someday at a very high level. But you just try to make him work, and I thought there were 2 or 3 possessions where he kind of showed his hands and chested them and made him take tough middies that Mikal's able to hit, but if he hits those and we lose, we live with those. We live with that situation. So he deserved it throughout, more so towards the end of the game, and them trying to go at him, but him holding his ground. We didn't have to take him out or anything like that.
And obviously, getting to 42 wins is a milestone for the franchise. I know you have bigger goals than that, but I guess what's it mean to get there at March 16th?
If anything, it means a lot for the fans and the organization. Sacramento, like on our shirts tonight, Sacramento proud. It's a proud fan base. Hardworking fan base up in the city, and they don't get a lot of love around the nation, city-wise, or even in the state of California, city-wise, and so to be able to pound their chests and walk with their heads high, and talk amongst their family and friends that don't live in the state of California or live in other cities of California. To have a little bit of bragging rights is great, but like I said, it's a little tough for me because I don't really equate March 16th with 42 wins. We're just trying to go after as many as we can, and while trying to play the right way, especially during this time of the year.
Mike, the fact that it is a milestone, sort of like you said, sort of sums up what the franchise has been through over a long time. As you've been over the past several months, what is it like kind of trying to, I don't know, maybe not reset things, but kind of have things pointing in a different direction where, like, this isn't just the goal to get to 42 wins, like to just make the playoffs, but to go beyond that and do more than that?
I've been talking to the guys from day one, so internally it's been pretty easy because the guys understand what my messaging has been all along, and they understand how passionate I am about it. And so I do feel that group believes in themselves. Not just because I'm telling them they're good, but because they've actually gone out and proven it time after time after time, whether it's individually in certain situations or collectively as a team. And so when you have a team that believes, they can be dangerous. You got to connect the team that believes they can be a very dangerous team, and that's what our group is right now. So internally, staying on point with our messaging and the direction that we want to go or where we think we can get to has been fine. It's a lot of guys, it's okay, but it's guys like you that haven't been around us a ton or anything like that, and you guys have every right but to second guess what we're doing from time to time. And for us, we just got to go out there and do what we do because we're in control of our destiny and see how the chips fall.
Jock said he told you would get his Coach of the Year vote?
Yeah, he did.
Should we listen to him?
No, it's not about me, and I do appreciate that. It's very nice of Jock. I mean, he's done a heck of a job with this team, especially with all that they've had going on this year. But what I look at when it comes to that type of stuff, I try, and you guys might think this is cliche. It's our medical staff. If it comes down to anything or anybody, our medical staff, Jazz is ahead of it. They deserve that award if it can happen. Because, at the end of the day, I said this coming in, and I've been in the league over 30 years, and if you can stay healthy, if you can compete, if you're organized, you got to get a little lucky in everything you do in life. But if you do those three things, you're going to make the playoffs in this league. Those three things. And I said that from day one. And, I can keep us organized. That's what I know how to do. You can push them to compete. And, you give Monty and Wes a lot of credit for bringing in guys that compete and Vivek too. But the part that you don't always have control over, knock on wood, is the health. And we've been pretty healthy. And I give everybody in that locker room that's on the medical performance side a ton of credit for it, because that's a big piece or a big part in where we're sitting right now.
But given that there's only three things you got to do to make the playoffs, basically, did it make you think how tough this is going to be? You're only the second guy now in Sacramento to have a winning record. One of I've said this before too is, Luke Laux and I are real close, and we've been close since our time in Golden State. He's literally been with me on every interview that I've gone on, and Jordy too. Jordy, I've known him for a long time, and before I even got the job, I told them both that we talked about it openly, how we felt that there's a chance for this thing to explode the right way. The facilities that Vivek has put together in Sacramento, that area downtown where the facility is, the practice facility, the way we eat, the way we travel, all that stuff is first class. And then you have a guy like Thomas, you have a guy like Foxy, then you have HB. We just felt before even taking the job that this thing was ready to explode, and we were hoping and praying while everybody else was like, why would you want that? We were hoping and praying that we would get it, and because just the potential is there, and we knew that all we had to do was, as a group, is have a little bit of success, and the fan base, their energy was going to get us over the hump in a lot of situations, because the fan base is they're just insane in a great way, and so it was. The formula was there, the recipe was there. We just came and pressed the switch, and it kind of happened. Yeah, but we're not done though. We got a long way to go.
Speaking of injuries with Kevin, if he has to miss time going forward, is it going to be something where Terrence steps into the starting lineup to sort of keep the other rotations in a similar form, or do you mix it up and go another direction and maybe tinker with the rotations even more?
Yeah, TD could start. Shoot, we feel like we could start Kessler. If we need to, we could start Trey.
we're going to bring Keon probably up. I may even throw him out there. So it's a great time for us to experiment a little bit with different guys in different positions. If he can't go, we'll see, after he gets evaluated. But, again, it's a tough situation to be in, to have him get hurt. But at the end of the day, it's next man out collectively.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank y'all. Thank you, guys.